Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Yashar Allah. Call Elohim La Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Bahasham Harakah Kodash for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwath that's keeping the faith in the works. Y'all keep at it. It's your brother Abaya coming at you on more precepts. It's Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Scripture is letting us know that it's going to get bad out here. And through the signs that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai left behind, we can see that time is very near. Right? It's extremely close, like it says in Romans 13 and 11. And that knowing the time, that now is the time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believed. Right? The new face of the daughter of Babylon, who is doing the bidding of the real individuals that really run this world and really run the daughter of Babylon, is making some major changes. And that's all over the news, you know. The different executive orders that's being passed to really take the daughter of Babylon out of a democracy and take it more towards a dictatorship. The Project 2025 that was being presented while the new face of the daughter of Babylon was contending for that face, quote unquote. But, he was denying that Project 2025 was a real thing, but kind of looked like it's being implemented as we speak. Right? Let me see. Let me go to Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. That precept just popped in my mind. The Lord just put it on my spirit. Isaiah 19 and 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So we're seeing the divide happen more and more as time goes by, right? Which is a major indication that the daughter of Babylon is finished, right? But reading further, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So really the logic of this place is leaving, and the people are looking for some form of stability through some form of understanding, but the only real stability comes through the word of the Most High. So as far as the individuals that are not Yasharala, you so-called blacks, you so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Americans, all of so-called Negro descent, and also members of the elect, right, the Israel of God. If you're not of that, then you're seeking to idols, right, whether it be Christianity, Islam, politics, whatever, right? And ultimately, the Lord got you in darkness, right? Verse 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh, right? Yahweh of hosts, right? Or Yahweh of armies, that cruel Lord, right? It's a big to do about the DEI, rollback, and it being attached to the civil rights. Really, just being real, the Lord is revealing what that civil rights movement and act was really all about. It ain't had nothing to do with us, for real, for real. If it was about us, then it would have specifically said black rights. Right, since that's what they were calling us, or Negroes at the time, would have been called Negro Rights Act, but it wasn't called that. It was called the Civil Rights Act, civilians. So that could be anybody. That's not particularly, you know, geared towards so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans, right? Really, it was more so aimed at so-called white women. Right, but it just showed the theatrics of trying to get a people to get behind something to make a change in this place. Right, the different actors that they put in places to create certain chaotic events. To bring about a compromise. Like we bring this point out all the time that the enemies have a certain saying that they follow, ordo ab chaos, right? Order out of chaos, right?
Ever happened to Latinos, Hispanics? Please listen to her until the end.
We just had a letter introduced into the record from the Heritage Foundation.
So it's a lot. I know I just dove into that, but this is the reason why I say that. I say what I just said because that's the talk of the town, right? That's what's all in the news. But they're not pushing this for real. For real, they're pushing more so Super Bowl and sports, and because this ain't nothing but Rome all over again. The same way Rome cranked up the Coliseum whenever the people were on edge, it's the same thing they doing now. But it's to the point to where, hey, them football games, the Coliseum acts they're not doing their job because the politics are too radical. So let the video play. I'll be back.
That is supporting this bill because of misguided efforts to essentially stoke segregation, division, and create a victim oppressor narrative, essentially, is what this letter of support says. But what is particularly peculiar about this massive bill that's been introduced, and I want to note that the co-sponsor of this bill, or this primary sponsor of this bill in the Senate, is Mr. J.D. Vance, our vice president-elect, is it literally, as the title says, is about dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the federal government. It revokes executive orders. It amends the Civil Rights Act, and it amends other parts of the federal code that protect our federal employees. And then it has this peculiar section that the ranking member talked about, which is actually essentially creating lists of federal employees and contractors that would never be eligible to work for the federal government again. Now, we have a word for that in common parlance. We call it blacklisting. And blacklisting comes from the 1950s, when here in this House of Representatives, there was a committee on un-American affairs that was convened under Joe McCarthy. The purpose of that was to purge the federal government and to accuse federal employees and blacklist them from future federal employment.
I just want you to pay attention to how many times this lady say that word, purge, right? When I was listening to her speak, my mind went to the movies and the TV show, and how through legislation, that's how the purge came about. And the purge also came about through who? The new founding fathers, right? So it was like a new world order, like a new age, which came with new laws. These new laws that really did away with the old laws.
So I'd like to say welcome to the new House Committee on Un-American Affairs and to the new McCarthyism, because we have arrived here today with this bill. So let's talk about
Will the
what
gentle lady
exactly
yield?
is trying to be accomplished
No.
by this bill and by the upcoming administration, which the Vice President-elect is participating in here. Now, okay, let's take the argument to its logical extension that this is really about making sure that we have qualified individuals inside the federal government. So my question is then, why is the president-elect choosing absolutely unqualified cabinet secretaries to be at the head of every single agencies? We've got now a worldwide wrestling executive who's going to run education. We've got a sexual predator who was about to have a bipartisan report released by the House of Representatives to be our AG. We've got a Fox News commentator who's going to run the military for us. So if my colleagues across the aisle want to talk about qualifications, they want to talk about efficiency, they want to talk about the federal workforce, then let's talk about it, because you're talking about putting into place leadership in these federal agencies who are absolutely unqualified, who are dangerous, and know nothing about the agencies that they're about to be appointed to lead. So this is not about qualifications. This is not about having a qualified federal workforce. This is about laying the ground for the purge that they plan on January 20th and in the days afterwards. And we know that because the very organization for whom the chairman just submitted this letter of support is the Heritage Foundation, who wrote Project 2025, which gave us the blueprint for the purge itself and what they are planning inside every single one of these agencies. So we need to be clear-eyed about what this actually is and about what is trying to be accomplished, and why 4 weeks before we're about to adjourn for the holidays, the Republicans are bringing this bill to a markup without an actual hearing. This is modern McCarthyism. They are preparing for a purge. They are going after members of the federal government who are advancing because they are people of color, women, LGBTQ+, other members of our community who have been excluded systematically from participating in federal service and leadership positions, and then they're going to put their own unqualified loyalists in there to take out our federal workforce. That is what this bill is about. It's about creating a statutory framework to do that, and we're going to fight it every step of the way.
Been very concerned lately about China. They are now all over.
I am furious about this rolling back of DEI programs in the current administration. Now Target is rolling back DEI. And I just want to put in my 2 cents. I don't talk about my day job very much here because there's nothing really to say. I've been in corporate human resources for 26 years. I live in California, okay? I've done HR in literally over 30 states. My last employment was with a national law firm in over 11 states. Literally the only thing I've ever done. I've been doing HR for 26 years. I've practiced employment law in almost every single state in this nation. DEI policies stem from the Civil Rights Act. And yes, most states, not most states, I should say, blue states typically have a lot more additional laws and programs that's centered around diversity, inclusion, disabled workers' rights, extending FMLA to the state level, paid sick leave laws, etc. And yes, I can confidently tell you, as a person who practices HR in a lot of states, the blue states tend to have a lot more benefits and protections for its citizens. What I think is so infuriating in all of this for me is the good people on the right. Let's just say there are good people on the right. Sorry, but there are, and I know there are, and I have family members who are. Because of their privilege, often they don't see the problem.
Well, not how I wanted to start my 2025. I was just laid off. This is actually the first time I've ever been laid off, so I don't really know what to even do or how to process anything. I just dropped off my laptop. It sucks the most because I seriously was only at this company for 2 months. I literally got this job in October and loved every single second of it. Unfortunately, the company was acquired and a lot of us were let go. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. So, we seeing, chaos being stirred in the pot, which ultimately will lead to the destruction of the daughter of Babylon. Go to Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou understand, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So the Most High told us to look out for these things, and that these things will be an indicator that Yahweh is visiting this world, basically bringing destruction upon this place, for his name's sake and for his people. Like it says in the book of Joel, chapter 3. Let me see. But through all of the chaos, through all of the chaotic events that the Most High has in store for the earth, the Most High's people will be okay, right? The Most High's people. Now, when I say his people, I'm talking about the people that's spoken of in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, right? The people that at the end of the day will call Yahweh their power, and Yahweh will call them his people, the them being the elect of Yasharallah, you so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, and all our brethren around the world, all of so-called Negro descent, right? Let me go to Psalms. Psalms 34 and 7. The angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. Right? Like we read in Jeremiah chapter 30. Jacob will be saved out of it. Now, that's not just talking about Yasharallah, right, itself. That's talking about the elect of Yasharallah. Right? Like it says in the book of Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. Right, the Yasharallah that's found written in the book of life, right? Not just know anybody. But while the Lord is bringing destruction to this place, famine, and so forth and so on, the Most High's people are gonna be okay, because the angel of the Lord encampeth round about those that fear him. Though these are the individuals that fear the Lord. So if you fear the Lord, then you'll be well taken care of. Isaiah 65 and 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Right? Scripture says, I love those that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Right? Like it says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, no wisdom cries without. She uttereth her voice in the street, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And since, roughly paraphrasing, since you didn't want to hear wisdom that was crying in the street via the prophets and the teachers and the bishops and the preachers, right? Saying as though you didn't want to hear it, the Lord ain't going to hear you. He will laugh at your calamity, right? But Isaiah 65 In verse 13, therefore thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. All right. So the elect gonna be good, man. But the 2/3, man, it's a wrap. Let me see. Let me see. That's 2 Peter. So let me find this precept. 1 second. Now, so 1 Peter 4 and 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of power. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them that suffer, according to the will of power, commit the keeping of their souls to him in well doing, as unto a faithful Creator. All right, so the individuals who fear the Lord, it's gonna be okay, but like Scripture just said, it's gonna be you're gonna barely make it out, but you're gonna be fine. But as far as the individuals that don't want to hear, right, they still believing in Babylon. And everything that's going on in the world right now, everything that's going on the earth, everything that's going on by law, these people are still believing and hoping in the daughter of Babylon, which is crazy. So, yeah, we haven't forgotten our past in this place, and this devil going to remind you of your past, because your past is about to be your present, according to the scripture. But it's going to be way worse. It's going to be a time such as never was since there was a nation. And the only people that's going to make it out is Yasharallah, that is found written in the book of life. So I'll end with that, man. Yahweh Shem Yahweh these precepts in this video were edifying. Call Elohim La, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Harakha Kodash, Shalom Yashar Allah.